Good morning, students. I'm Pooja Malik, your science teacher from Springfields Public School. Students, today I'm going to start new chapter, chapter 2, microorganisms. Micro, as the word says, micro means very small. The organisms which cannot be seen by naked eye are called microorganisms or microbes. These organisms are so small that we require a microscope. A microscope is used to see these microorganisms. So these are invisible to our eyes. We cannot see them through our naked eyes, but a very powerful microscope can be used to see these organisms. So organisms that are so small that they cannot be seen through a naked eye, they can only be seen through a microscope, are called microorganisms or microbes. And the science of the study of these microorganisms is called microbiology, and people or scientists who study microorganisms are known as microbiologists, right? So students, let us see an activity. Through this activity we will see that how the organisms, observation of organisms in soil, that whether these organisms exist in soil. So we have to collect moist soil from a field and just add water to it. When soil particles settle, take a drop of water on glass slide, cover it with cover slip and observe the glass slide using microscope. So you will find that many small organisms which cannot be seen with naked eye are observed through microscope. This is an activity which we can do when we are there in the school, right? So students, this is a simple activity which you have seen in class 7th also. During the rainy season you would have seen there is grayish white patches, they occur on stale bread, purani bread jo hoti hai. If we keep it in some moist and dark place for few days, then we see grayish white patches on it, this moist bread. And if we observe it under a microscope, then we will see small round balls with the long stacks, and this is called a bread mold. It's a kind of fungus. So this fungus occurs on the bread in rainy season because moisture is required by it to grow, and it occurs on a stale bread if it is kept in dark and damp place, right? So basically, the microorganisms can be categorized into five: bacteria, fungus, protozoa, algae, and virus. You know that virus. These microorganisms can be very, though they are so small in size that they cannot be even seen through a naked eye, but they can be very harmful. These days we are talking about pandemic, we are talking about COVID-19, and we all are forced to stay in our homes, and we are not able to move out, enjoy our life, live our life in the normal way. The schools are closed and everything is closed just because of a microorganism. This is a virus which is spreading such a deadly disease that people are so very struck into their houses. Everything is shattered. So these microorganisms can play very vital role in the life of human beings. We will just see to that in our chapter in detail. So firstly, I'd like to discuss with you bacteria, right? Bacteria, these are microorganisms which are unicellular living things. They have one cell. Unicellular, uni means one, only one cell they have, and they are found, we will talk about it in chapter further also, that bacteria or other microorganisms are found everywhere. They are found in air, water, soil, and in the bodies of other organisms including human beings, and they multiply very fastly. So nearly a bacteria divides uh, into multiples just in few minutes. So basically bacteria can be categorized into three: rod shaped called bacilli, spherical called cocci, and spiral called spiralia. So depending on the shape of the bacteria, they can be categorized into three, right? Then another microorganism is fungus, right? Fungus, these are plant like organisms, but they do not contain chlorophyll, and fungus can be unicellular or multicellular. Some of the multicellular fungus are yeast is unicellular, and bread mold, which we talked about now only, is multicellular. And mushrooms are also large multicellular fungus. They are large, they can be seen through naked eyes. So fungus cannot make their own food because they do not contain chlorophyll. They are either parasites or they are saprophytes. So fungus are also present in every climatic condition, from desert to the cold region, and in moist and dark places. The next microorganism we'll talk about is protozoa. Protozoa are also unicellular organisms, and they have animal-like characteristics. They can move from one place to another. They capture and eat food. Some protozoa live in fresh or salt water, others live in soil. Some are parasites, that is, they live in the body of other organisms, including human being, and examples are amoeba and paramecium. Then other microorganism is algae. Algae are plant-like organisms. They have characteristics similar to plants because they have cell wall and chlorophyll within their cell, and algae can also be unicellular or multicellular, and they can make their own food by photosynthesis because they have green pigment called chlorophyll. Algae, they are almost they live in every kind of water, that is ponds, lakes, sea water, and some algae are also found in snow and in hot water springs. They also grow in moist soil, bark of trees, and rock surfaces. The green growth often seen in water and on the surface of wet rocks is algae, and some examples are chlamydomonas and spirogyra. Then we talk about virus. As I've told you, that viruses, bache, they do not have cytoplasm and they do not have cell organelle. That is why viruses basically they do not have cellular structure like all living things. They do not have cell because they do not have cytoplasm and they do not have cell organelle. So basically viruses are termed to be on the verge of non-living and living because they do not have cellular structure. They can be categorized as non-livings, but when they enter into a living cell, see here, this is a living cell and this is the virus which has entered into the living cell. Because the living cell has cytoplasm and cell organelle, they use the host cell's energy and nutrients to grow, and they become living. So outside the host body, when they are outside the living body, they do not do any harm because they are categorized as non-living. But as soon as they enter the host body, they use the host cell's energy and nutrients, and they can do very much harm to that body, right? So even they can use so much of energy from the host body, they can use so much of nutrients from the host body that host can die, and they multiply in large number. So these viruses are very very deadly. They can be very very harmful. They can make the person die if this virus enters into the body of the person, right? So basically, as I've told you, that viruses, they are very harmful and they cause very simple diseases like cold, cough, flu, influenza, and they can also cause very harmful diseases like polio and chickenpox. And today we are in the condition to say that viruses can be very very harmful because of the situation we are seeing or we are going through in the present scenario. So uh, these are five type of microorganisms which I've discussed with you. Now these microorganisms, as I've already told you, they can be very very harmful, and in cases they can also be useful to us. So we will discuss about their useful and harmful effects in my next lecture. So till then, you read this chapter, page number 23, 24, and 25. And there are also oral questions related to it on page number 26. So try to solve those oral questions, student. Thank you very much. And students, today I'm also sending you one art integrated activity of science which you have to complete in this week and submit it to me. Thank you very much.